what was it like over at Dark Horse? Did you like it there?
I was employee number 12.
Okay,
So there's
wow,
a
it's
certain
the
amount
very
of Wild
beginning.
West. I always say I worked at Dark Horse during their awkward teenage years because when I came in, I was number 12. When I left, there were at least 120. We had a whole
Wow.
coloring department that hadn't existed before with some new computer technology that was sort of being driven to the fringes by there was one point at which people from one of the software companies came in and had our colors tell them how they were doing what they were doing because they didn't know their stuff would do that. It was really it was nice, it was fun, it was ultimately in a lot of ways not my company. It's very boy-centric, very kind of harsh, and in my heart of hearts I want to do more along the lines of all ages material, and I definitely want more inclusion of women characters and women audience.
I believe in that too.
Because self-serving, the 10-year-old me wants all the comics I want.
Yeah, and that's what you can see that right now. It seems like every project is now having a strong female character as the main lead, or a female character, regardless if she's strong or not, as the lead.
Well, that's my point. It doesn't just have to be strong female
Yeah.
characters. It has to be as wide a range of female characters as there is a range of male characters.
Absolutely.
So you get the old ones, the fat ones, the weird ones, etc. Not just the pretty ones who are
Yep.
ultra powerful dominant.
Exactly. And there's so many different angles to take on it, and there's so many different. It used to be that it was only there's this certain structure because it was all these people who were in power were white males, and that's what they wanted to see, and because that's
Well, and not just what they wanted to see. In a lot of cases, it wasn't that they were trying to shut anyone out. When you put yourself into the mind of the lead character,
you want to be.
you don't always stop and consider the other characters
Yeah.
because that you're kind of so in so many cases sometimes it's people analytically looking back. I think one of the reasons why Marv Wolfman was successful with the Teen Titans is he would sit back and grid out relationships between characters and deliberately go for making them different from each other and have different kind of relationships to each other. And not everybody went through that kind of analytical gymnastics. Sometimes they would just be, I am typing, pages 14 through 19, they fight, I'm getting my check. There's a certain amount of. I came in at an era where there's a lot of jaded going on.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Ellen Moore did was shake up the complacency of people who were used to working for a check and sometimes skating lightly on craft, and forced a lot of them to either go do something else or rethink what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of resentment over that, except when you get into the art of it, it's like everyone working in this industry.
Everyone should do that.
No, everyone working in this industry, even if they're not ultimately very good at it,
Yeah.
has a joy in it, came into
Yeah.
this. This is not a field you chased because of the money. This
No,
is a field
definitely
you
not.
chased because you were drawn to the idea of participation. And so I think it kind of upped people's participation game, and they come at it in new ways.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think no one is here because there's like, it's going to make us so much money after you do it for a little while,
Obviously, it worked out that way for some people,
Yeah.
but...
But that's the exception. That's not the rule. And it's really interesting because a lot of IP is created here, and everyone kind of sees those stories and kind of understands. Oh wow, they're billionaires and millionaires because they've created this and they've done
Well,
this.
and there's
but
a lot of people who should be, who were entirely cut out of
it's
the pie.
absolutely. Sometimes somebody creates something and they create it for a company like Marvel, DC, you name it, and there's different deals, and they get completely screwed out of the rights.
They get completely screwed, but let's look at that also. I want to stick up for the companies in that, because
Yeah.
so often people say, oh no, the companies did this, the companies did that. Well, the companies also provided a page fee that paid somebody's rent at the time.
Yep.
They provided the opportunity in the first place.
Yeah.
They provided publicity for it and the sales, and they took on essentially the legal.
Yep.
If you have copyright, you're also the person on the front lines if there's any kind of
Legal
an
issues,
attack on
yeah.
it and all that. So they provided something more than nothing. But yes, I would agree, a lot of people should have seen greater rewards from things they've created than
Yeah.
they did. But they didn't get totally screwed, they got something.
Yeah, and that's how it goes.
And that's the chance you take. I mean,
Yeah.
the chance in this industry is if you want to completely self-publish and take on all responsibilities and all steps, then you will see the most you can see from your property.
Yeah.
But if you would also like to have a regular amount of money that's going to
Pay
pay
your
for
bills, yeah.
yourself and your family and all that, then you take the deal where you're paid something steady now. And there are wrong choices retroactively, but there's no wrong choices when you make them, because you make them based on what you have available to you then.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because, a lot of the companies go out there and they create these IPs. The people behind the IPs create the IPs, but the companies really grow the IPs. They make the relationships, they get them on TV, they do that, and that stuff kind of goes on the wayside.
There's that too. And again, they're kind of... Yes, they grossly take advantage of people in a lot of cases,
Absolutely,
but they're
no.
also unfairly demonized.
So
there's
both.
there's
There's both
there's
sides.
balance.
Exactly.
Yes.
There really is.
I'm a Libra. There's always on the other hand.